So the biggest question right now is Bitcoin going back to all-time high? We're about to have this pump. By the time you're watching this video, maybe it would have already pumped even more. It doesn't matter. This video is still going to be probably the best video that you're going to watch on Bitcoin right now. Pure technical analysis. Pretty much going to go over like basically every scenario that could happen and why you need to actually be informed as to what these scenarios are, so that you're not just blindly buying and blindly holding, and just so that this doesn't happen to you where you buy here at 125k, 126k and you're down 33%. All right. So that you're actually buying at the right times and you're selling at the right times. You want to make profit, right? I assume that you're here because you actually want to make money. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let me tell you the two different scenarios that could take play. If you look at the RSI right here, right? And you look at last cycle. So this was the last cycle, 2021. The moment we passed the green MA is once we dumped, and then we bounced back to it to retest it, and we reject it, right? So here's the thing about this RSI. This is basically the momentum, the strength. How powerful is this move? Is this a real move or not, right? So it went up as the price went up, and then it went down as the price went down, right? So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? If you take a line right here, so if you take that line where that support was right here, and then how we actually crashed under it, right? Same here. We had a support up here on price. Look at the price, and then we crashed here. So when we go back up, right, our resistance now is this line, right? This is our momentum resistance, right? So the buy power, we went above it by barely, and then we came back to retest it, and we didn't bounce off. We actually dunked under, right? And as you can see here, once we dunked under was about right here. You know, pretty much we rejected and then we go lower. All right. The bull case would have been that we go above that green line, we retest, or we just blast right through it. Right. And then here it would look like that we go above this 50-week MA and then we go straight up. But we didn't do that. Right now, it's pretty much exact same situation. Our bull RSI levels were right here. This is when we were at all-time highs. So if you go and you draw a kind of like a resistance line right here, you'll see that this is kind of around the area of where our resistance will be for the RSI. So we bounced off here. We're going up on the RSI. We're also going up on the price. And so it's going to be the exact same situation. This is the 50-week MA right here. So once it comes up here, if it even does, I do believe that I think the most likely scenario is that it still does come up here. I don't think it will just die off here. It needs to, you know, this is the price never needs to do anything, but this is like so likely that it needs to. You know, not financial advice here. I'm just based off of Bitcoin's history. So we go up here, right here, $101,000 Bitcoin. This is where we'll find out, like, this is literally where you will find out whether or not it continues higher or not. If we go and we retest it and then go high, make a higher high, that's it. Like, we're good. That's golden. Now, at least you can put your stop loss. Not stop loss. I do not advocate for using stop losses because it will come down and wick, stop you out, and then go back up. Your mental stop loss, I'm assuming you're investing, not just, you know, a quick day trade. Underneath here, underneath the green MA, you know, by then it will be like around right here. You just put it underneath that. If it closes underneath on a weekly, then, you know, like that's pretty much it. It's cooked, right? Or some would argue that it needs to close twice underneath, not just once, because of the fact that back here in last cycle it closed once under, but, you know, and just recovered. So you could wait another, I guess, depending on how it closes, whatever. The point is you have your stop loss there, and that's your risk, but your reward is just, you know, the higher highs right here. That's literally it. You would basically target these highs right here, and then you would see how it reacts. Does it reject? Does it go right through? You know, and now what you did here with the green MA is what you'll do here. You'll do the same thing. Is that boom? Hey, do we go above and bounce off and continue, or do we crash down and go even lower? You know, and now we know that we're gonna have to come back down to the green MA again. Like there's so many scenarios that could happen, right? No, but it's, you know, people say like you can't predict the market. In reality, you can predict the scenarios that could happen, and then you just play those scenarios. It's just about if this, then this, or if this, then most likely this. So like, yes, it could reject here and go lower. It could go above, hit it, go higher, and then still end up coming, you know, right back down. Maybe maybe not even at this mark. Another scenario, these are just less likely scenarios, is that you take the resistance, the new support, and you go on the halfway mark. And a lot of times you'll see it. You'll see that it actually, even if it goes through, it might have like some type of, it will have something like that and then go through. You'll see it too, that there's actually a lot of resistance on the halfway marks. A lot of people don't talk about the halfway marks, but that's also a possibility that it could just, hit that halfway mark right here and then come back down, right? Or it could pass it, hit that resistance, come back down, or it can pass this, bounce off, and then bounce, like there's so many scenarios. But the idea is that you're not just investing blindly. Like you don't just, buy here, or just buy here, just buy randomly. Is that you're at least informed, honestly, the whole point of this channel, at least as of right now, is so that like I want people to just at least be informed. I want you to be informed as to what's going on, and so that you can make your own decisions based off of that, not based off of what Michael Saylor is saying on Twitter, or this person is saying like, bruh, like you're just gonna get cooked. Like that's what happens. People just get cooked. But my base case scenario right now looks like this. Oh, I think we just hit 94K, huh? Right? This is my base case scenario, is that, let me put the 350, because the 50-week MA on the daily is basically 350, right? 50 times 7 days in a week, whatever. So it's basically right here. So right now, this is literally what's happening, is that we had this resistance right here. We've hit it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now we're hitting it again. So we're, if we don't pass this, you can expect that we just go back down here. That's just how it works. But if we do pass this, we make it support, right? Then you would expect that the next area is right here. These lows actually would kind of be, these wicks would be like some type of lighter resistance maybe. Let me see. Let me make this like that, right? And then the actual resistance, like a hard resistance, would be right here, where all of this chop action was happening, right? I guarantee you on the other side of this, months ago, there's probably also something going on here. Let me see. If we take this, go across, yeah, right here. This is where it bounced off, right here. This is where it bounced off before it went to new all-time highs, okay? So you would expect that, this is basically the bounce region before we went to new all-time highs, right? So if we can bounce past this, right, like that's really good bullish momentum. That's a good bullish scenario. So you have this area, and then the next hard resistance is right above it, which honestly, by the time we get up there, maybe they align, which is the 50-week MA. But since it's going down, right, I drew this just kind of expecting where it would go. We might even just hit it right here, right, where like you just hit them both together, right? Instead of hitting one and then hitting the other, maybe it just takes so long that by then they cross, and then we hit them both, either reject or we go above, right? Literally, it's so easy. Or you go above, retest, and make a higher high. Okay, now you target, like I said, now we target, the next areas, and you just watch what happens in the next areas to see, hey, does it reject, or are we cleanly, like, we're actually pumping up there? Is this manipulation, or is this real buying? Right? Or it just goes like this and then comes down, like I have right here on that red line that I have drawn. Whoa. Right here. Which in that case, in that case, well, to be real, like to be realistic, in that case, I know I have it just, go straight down, but that's also not realistic. What it would probably happen is that we come down here to retest, these areas, because these are resistance right now, but to retest them as support again, and then probably go like that, or like, like it could bounce, like that's the thing, but you just have to watch it. I'm in this video, I'm kind of giving like kind of all the scenarios, but the most likely scenario is that we do this and we go down here, and then you watch it. It's like, okay, then now what happens here at these lows? Do we bounce off here as well, or do we barely bounce and then crash under like that? And then in this case, like, look at this. Whoa. In this case, that's just a downtrend. That's a downtrend. Lower lows, lower highs, just like here. Just like literally what happened ever since it hit all-time highs, that low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and it just keeps going. It just literally keeps going until it finds enough, a good amount of support, which is right here, just a good amount of support, right? And it's bouncing, but do we make a high, right? Which looks like we're about to, and then do we make a high or a low also, and then continue? Or do we just make a high and then it ultimately comes back down in the same range and then goes lower, all right? And if you look at last cycle, right, we had this downtrend. Literally, this is last cycle. We had this downtrend. It broke out of that downtrend, went sideways, right? We made a high, actually. We actually came up and made a high. But when we came down, we never made a higher low. Actually, well, you could argue that that's a higher low. Hold on, let me show you. You could argue that, you know, because the low is right here, and so this is a higher low technically. You could argue that, but as you can see, like, you know, when it bounced, the bounce was very weak, and it just crashed under. Especially when you're right here. If you were just right here, you would have seen this bear, like super bearish candle, and the fact that we couldn't even get above that. That's your first ever resistance, but we didn't, you know. And then that candle engulfed this, so it's like right away there was a bounce, but literally within bounced right here, and then within 2 days you're able to know that, hey, nah, I'm not gonna get in that. Like, no, I'm not getting in that, right? It's just very risky to get in there. And then look, it rejected. Look at that wick. It rejected right here, which, like I said, that's that would be your first resistance. And then it just rejected, and then it just died. It literally just died. So the idea is that watch it, see what happens. Currently, personally, I'm still majority in stable coins. What I like to do during these relief rallies is trade not Bitcoin, but I'm, you know, trading coins like Aether, for example, is doing. Oh, actually, wow, wow, that's actually doing really good. I had called this in a group chat that I'm in, but I think it was like around 0.01 or 0.013, somewhere like right here, and so it's already up 21% in pretty much literally a day, whereas Bitcoin is up like barely anything compared to that. You know, 21% versus Bitcoin in the past day is only up 4%, right? So that's my idea, is that, you know, Bitcoin might come back up here, make another 9%, but these other coins are going to make another 30%, another 40%. You just have to pick the right ones. I'm not advocating for these, okay? But Fartcoin is, you know, doing its thing. It's farting up there. Same thing, it was around right here. I think, is this the red line? Yeah. So around right here, about 15% already. Like, come on. And the resistance for these is like crazy. So right now it's at a resistance, right? The next major resistance isn't up until here, where it was basically this downtrend. You see this downtrend at its end, this low right here. That's basically it. I don't think it's gonna go past this and then make higher highs and stuff like that. But if Bitcoin does go much higher and it's continuing into a bull market, then this would too. And so this would just boom, retest, and then go higher. I doubt that. I'm really gonna just try to get the heck out of there around right here, which is crazy profit still. That's 36% more than where it's at right now. Given that it does pass this initial resistance, which I think it will. But yeah, we're literally here at Bitcoin, the $94,000, these resistance levels. So we have to pass this, go to here, and then this is literally the decision factor right here. That $100,000 to $101,000 range is the decision factor. Do we reject right off? Do we go up a little bit and then come to test support and reject? Do we bounce, make higher high and a higher low? What do we do? This is literally right here is the decision factor for the entire Bitcoin market, for genuinely, I would say, for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year, because it's respected it ever since, like, literally from 2023, right? From 2023, it's respected that line. It's respected the 50-week MA from here. Actually, from here. Yeah, 2023. Respected it. And now we crashed under. So we have to go up. We have to tap it. What do? We have to confirm. We confirm. That's what it likes to do. It likes to go back to see, are we going to retest it and go lower, or are we going to go higher? I'm just being repetitive right now, but that's literally it. Comment, like, subscribe. Stay safe. Take care.